Shalom, Yahweh Basham, Yoshai Basham, Rakakadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone who teach us this word in truth. Shalom. Shalom to the hopeful elect scattered abroad amongst the nations who look like the nations, but are not of the nations. Shalom. This Bible verse I will read to you, and then I'll go into a video. 1 Samuel 2:6. Yahweh killeth and maketh alive. He bringeth down to the grave and bringeth up. Isaiah 14:21. Prepare a slaughter for the children, for his children. Slakia. Prepare a slaughter for his children, for the iniquity of their fathers, that they do not raise, nor possess the land, nor fill the face of the world with cities. For I will rise up against them, said Yahweh of hosts, and cut off from Babylon the name Amramnat and sons and Nebu, said Yahweh. Isaiah 34:6. The sword of Yahweh is filled with blood. It is made fat with fatness, with the blood of lambs and goats, with the fat of the kidneys of rams. For Yahweh had a sacrifice in Basra, and a great slaughter in the land of Idumea. Now I'll go into the video, only audio will be played.
For low prices, for fast shipping, for life with pets, there's Chewy.
So this is fair use. Fair use is in effect. I'm making no funds from this. It's just for education purpose.
It's Camp Mystic. It's the name of the camp. Been around for generations. And one thing about this camp that might make a difference in how all this is handled is that it's a camp for rich kids. Yeah, these were kids from wealthy families. These are wealthy white kids, and their parents paid almost $5,000 for their kids to go to sessions at this camp. And as awful as it sounds, me and you both know, it'll get more attention than if this was a bunch of poor kids. And the weather service said like 3 to 6 inches of rain, ended up being 12. The river came up really quickly. The weather service wasn't getting the information out as they should. There's no sirens in that area to warn people that the river's coming up. Should the camp directors have heeded the original warnings and moved the kids up? The kids that were washed away were the younger of the fellows, and their cabins were right next to the river. Well, the other campers, the older ones, are up on the hill, and they're fine. So maybe they should have taken the initiative and moved those little guys up to the top of the hill for the night. But hindsight's 20/20. The fact is, a lot of little kids have lost their lives in this flood, and it's a preventable tragedy. It's just a shame. So will we hear more from these parents? Probably. Money gets attention. We all know it's true. And these were wealthy children. Yeah. Just tragic. This little guys.
And look, y'all already know on this channel we hold racist Caucasian people accountable. And sometimes, because if we don't, who will? And before we get to this video, if you don't like black people, black issues, black talks, get the step. Racial discrimination against African Americans has a long and difficult history in Texas, including areas like Kirk County. Slavery. Kirk County had a slave population before the Civil War, with some families owning enslaved people around Kerrville and Center Point. The KKK was active in Texas, using violence and terror tactics, and hanging from ropes became a prevalent form of racial intimidation. One instance involved the hanging from ropes of 6 black men in Kerrville in 1894. Recent discussions in Kerrville acknowledge that racism, while perhaps not always overt, continues to be a reality for some members of the local black community. Make that make sense. And the ironic part is, all this stuff happened, the flood happened on the 4th of July. And again, rest in peace to those young girls that died in that flood. But this woman was right. Money gets attention. Just look at these sundown towns. Every time they have a major disaster, they get all the right media. They get the sympathy from the whole country. I told y'all, on a lot of my videos, all of my videos, I'm always telling y'all about the media. They know how to make you care about something and not give a damn about the other. Hurricane Katrina, we saw what the media did. They changed the whole narrative. Instead of helping people, it took George Bush 5 days to bring in the Coast Guards to help people down here in New Orleans. He watched elderly people die because they didn't have their medicine. He watched people floating in water. He watched the cops shoot black people for no reason, just had an excuse, said there was looting. So you telling me in Texas they don't loot? I ain't hear nothing about them shooting people. I told y'all the media is powerful, but let me show you how powerful our ancestors are. I told y'all after that Carmelo Anthony incident, our ancestors don't sleep. Camp Bandina in Houston, mostly black kids, they escaped death. Matter of fact, run a tape.
Tonight, a North Houston community is feeling relief after flash flooding near Camp Bandina left roads blocked and families worried. A bus finally pulled back into town, bringing home dozens of kids and a wave of emotion. Orko Manna was there for the heartfelt reunion.
To see this bus pull into the parking lot of Garden Oaks Church of Christ in North Houston is such a relief for these families. All these kids spending time this week at Camp Bandina, a Christian youth camp in Bandera, Texas. Flooding from the Guadalupe River and this tree blocking their way out of the camp, causing concern for loved ones.
I missed y'all. So glad y'all made it back safely.
Erica White, grateful to see her 13-year-old daughter Madison Saturday and share an embrace. It's comforting to know all the kids are okay.
We were just praying, and last night was rough, but I was so happy when I could track her on Life 360 and see that they were heading back, so very grateful.
The panic paralyzing, knowing that less than 30 miles north of Camp Bandina in the Texas Hill Country is Camp Mystic. In the wake of the intense flooding Friday, Camp Mystic officials say more than 20 kids are still missing.
That camp isn't too far from where you guys were, so, I mean, how are you processing what happened out there?
We were initially shocked, and we were a little scared, to be honest, but we did pray about it, and fortunately we got through it.
It really shook a lot of the adults. We tried to keep the kids unaware of it.
Youth Minister Bryce Powers telling me his heart is with Camp Mystic right now.
We're blessed to have avoided the storm. We're blessed to be here, we do send our thoughts and prayers out to the families of the people who are lost and who they're still looking for.
Powers calling himself and his campers lucky that the water receded near them so they could come home.
Nature slowed it down just enough for us to get up out of there.
Reporting in North Houston, Orko Manna, KHOU 11 News.
The racial demographics of Kirk County, Texas in 2025 are estimated to be roughly 6 to 8% white, 2% black. Make that make sense. And at first, I wasn't even going to make this video, but then I thought about it. Where's the same care and outrage when Daniel Penny choked that black man out on a train? Matter of fact, you had people that raised millions of dollars for Daniel Penny. Where's the same care and outrage for Jabari Peoples? At only 18 years old, you had a cop murder him in cold blood. He's sitting in the car with a young lady. Cop knocks on his window and said, "What you doing, boy?" They get out of the car. He shoots Jabari in the back for no reason, and then had the audacity to lie and say that he had a gun. And right now, at this very moment, every single day, his family is fighting for the body body cam footage. They don't want to show the body cam footage. Make that make sense. Where's the same care and outrage for our ancestors that was thrown to alligators and Nottoway Plantation? Matter of fact, you had people sad that the plantation burned down, and I can go on and on. They was mad because they can't have weddings. Make that make sense. And like I say, I can go on and on. All I say is keep that same goddamn energy, partner. And wait, before I read this, it wasn't just Kirk County, Texas. The storm traveled to another racist place, Chapel Hill, North Carolina. Check this history out. On November 17, 1937, the Imperial Wizard of the KKK, Dr. Hiram Evans, delivered a speech advocating for white supremacy to 1,000 students and faculty at the University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill. The event was hosted by the University of North Carolina Political Science Department and the Carolina Political Union. Make that make sense. So let me get this straight. Our ancestors that built the University of North Carolina, you telling me these people had the audacity to name a building that our ancestors built after a KKK leader? Now look at them. Everything is complete loss. Eastgate Crossing businesses assess flood damage. This was published July 10, 2025. That was yesterday. Central North Carolina took a massive hit from Tropical Depression Chantal on Sunday as a storm that was projected to drop 3 inches of rain ended up flooding the community with as much as 10 inches, breaking rainfall records and causing millions of dollars in damage. Make that make sense. Now look, we may never get reparations, and how ironic. North Carolina was
Enough about that. Shalom. Yehovah Shem Yoshai Bashem